I welcome into the final regular season edition of the Butt and Breneman Show. We've waited all year for rivalry week. It is the week of the game. It's Ohio State, Michigan. I know there's a bunch of other games, but come on, we're going to talk about Ohio State, Michigan. So, Adam, it's great to see you. Let's start there. From an outsider's perspective, what's your opinion on the game? What's your energetic commitment, alignment, love for this game? How do you view it?
First, I want to. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good this week? Like, how, as a Michigan man, are you excited, or like what's
Oh,
the?
I'm always excited. Oh, I'm always
Yeah,
excited.
but
Yeah,
are you feeling optimistic, or are you a little nervous?
always. No, always. Yeah, I mean, always optimistic. I'd be insane to not be nervous. I'd
Yeah,
be insane to not be nervous. I think that's healthy. This week as a player was just, it was like emotionally draining. The entire week, you're just
yeah,
trying to just stay as even keel as possible, so you're not completely drained by kickoff. Less so now working in media. And look, I still got to prep for my game this weekend. I got Penn State Rutgers. So
hmm
there's a lot going on, and it's just fun to break down these teams, man. I mean, this is Michigan's won
yeah.
four
I know,
straight, four
incredible, man.
straight.
I'll,
So
I'll, I'll say this. This is the best rivalry in college football, and it's not even close.
I agree.
I saw a bunch of conversation about Alabama, Auburn, different games around the country, and they're all good rivalries. But this one, Ohio State, Michigan, is more personal than any other rivalry game there is.
Thank you.
I don't care about in-state versus out-of-state. The history of this, I mean, there's political hatred between these two states.
Hmm.
There is recruiting battles. There is
War. There was a
it's
literal
war,
war.
a literal war. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it goes way. It's way more than just football, and
Bloodshed.
that's what makes this game so exciting. And to have it now, Jake, the last week of the regular season with everything at stake, Ohio State, you can clinch the number one seed in the college football playoff, and it's important because you lost four in a row. And can you imagine the chatter here if Ohio State loses a fifth in a row? If you're Michigan, Jake, this is your dream. I mean, you
Hmm.
beat Ohio State, and I don't care what anyone says. If you beat Ohio State, a two-loss Michigan team with a win against the number one team in the country is in the college football playoff and with a pretty decent path to playing in the Big Ten championship game. To think about, I mean, this Michigan came out of nowhere this season, right? And they quietly
Yeah.
all season been winning games, only two losses, one in the conference. To have a chance to make the college football playoff with a freshman quarterback, with the injuries they've had, I mean, it's incredible and a great storyline. It makes this game, aside from just being incredibly personal, it's not personable. It's personal.
Yeah.
It makes it for an epic matchup, even if it wasn't a rivalry game.
Yeah, no, I mean, you laid it out. You said it all perfectly there. And, for Bryce Underwood, like this, Bryce Underwood was brought in. I was calling the Maryland game last weekend, and we were saying, hey, if Michigan beats Maryland, then you're playing for everything that you just mentioned. And that's why Michigan went out and brought in Bryce Underwood, because they felt he was the guy to take them to these type of scenarios, to postseason and championships and beating your rival consistently. And Bryce said it, back in our camp tour. He said, listen, you have not seen a freshman like me. It's been a polarizing clip that gets tossed around on social media. This is the weekend to prove it. It's a legacy game. And I was thinking, Adam, back when I was a kid, I grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, 15 minutes from campus. And people ask me all the time, like, hey, were you a Browns fan or a Bengals fan? Like, no,
Yeah,
in Columbus, you were an Ohio State fan. That's just what it was.
yeah,
Everybody was emotionally lined with the Buckeyes. And there was one family in town. They had a projector that they would project whatever the Ohio State game was that weekend. They projected it on the side of their house. And the neighborhood would come, and it'd be a big party, a big potluck. And there'd be 100 or 200 people for most games. And then on that last Saturday in November, it felt like the entire city of Pickerington came together to watch. The city shut down, the world melted away. And then as kids during halftime, whenever it was halftime, we'd grab a football and we'd go play catch. And I'd say, man, I want to be like Ted Ginn one day, or I want to be like Charles Woodson or Desmond Howard or Brandon Graham. And you would dream of this moment and this opportunity. And that's what it is for these players. That's the opportunity for these coaches. Sharon Moore is undefeated as a head coach in this rivalry. That's legacy. Ryan Day, this you're talking about in terms of winning percentage, one of the all-time great coaches, and yet we're still saying here, why can't you beat your rival? It's just it is. That's why this one's different too, Adam, because you do throw out the records and the logic, and we could talk about the X's and O's, but there's an emotional aspect that is what makes this rivalry so special.
Yeah, it's so emotional. It really, when you have a game that's this emotional, it makes a talent gap or it makes a scheme difference not all that important. It makes everything closer together, right? We used to talk about in games when we were big underdogs. Like I remember playing when I played for Bill O'Brien at Penn State. We'd be big underdogs. He would tell us what the spread is for every game, and then he would say, but they don't have the heart. They don't have the emotion that we have in this game. They're not measuring how much we want this one. And I think that's why Michigan's won this game consistently the last 4 years. I don't think you could argue Ohio State has the better roster on the fields in this game. Without they have more talent, better roster, a quarterback that's playing better, and it's going to be a battle even despite the talent gap. Jake, let me ask you this. On the Michigan side, who were the couple guys that really have to play well in order for Michigan to get a W?
Well, let's start with injuries. Let's start there. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, little injured. Not sure if they're going to play. They're going to play. Okay, you're going to play in this game. So then for Michigan's defense, the guys that have to play well. This reminds me so much of the 2021 game when Michigan got their first win, and it was C.J. Stroud and all those talented wide receivers that they're all leading the NFL in receiving. It was disgusting the amount of talent they had on the outside. But it didn't matter because David Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson got to C.J. Stroud. It is a race for Michigan's defensive line, particularly Derek Moore and Jayshon Barham. They have to race and get to Julian Sayin before he gets the ball to those wide receivers. And really, Sayin, his best trait is he gets rid of the ball quick. He does not take sacks. He has not been hit yet this year. He's a California kid. I'm not downplaying his toughness. I'm high on Julian Sayin. I think he was my Heisman pick a few weeks ago. Yeah. But he's a California kid. It's going to be 30 degrees this weekend with snowfall expected. You're getting knocked down on a cold turf like that is painful. We don't know how Sayin's going to react to that. That's the biggest key for Michigan. And then on the flip side, it's the offensive line. And in particular, their center, Greg Crippen, because Matt Patricia runs 3 down, 4 down, 5 down front, exotic blitz packages, rotating coverages. Yeah. It is a mental game. So the communication up front by the center, Greg Crippen, is absolutely key. The home field advantage is a big plus for Michigan, especially with a freshman quarterback, to be able to communicate and be on the same page against these exotic fronts and coverages that Ohio State's defense presents.
Yeah, I was writing down the Michigan keys to win before we got on here, Jake. And number one, I put keep living inside Ohio State's head. All the psychological momentum in this rivalry is with Michigan. They've taken this matchup personally and played loose, while I really feel like Ohio State has tightened up in these moments. Yep. And Michigan needs to weaponize that again. Play loose, play free, with nothing to lose, everything to gain in this matchup. And I think they'll bode well with that. I also think for Michigan, you got to turn this into a slow, physical, big house type game. Drag Ohio State into a field position battle, limit explosive plays, force them to have long drives down the field. And man, I'm excited to see Bryce Underwood play in this game. His play this season has been up and down without a doubt. There's been moments where he's flashed and you say, man, that is the 5-star talent. There's moments where you say he looks like a freshman and he looks like he's unsure of himself at times. What a great opportunity to put a full game together and play your best football of your career. But playing against Ohio State's defense and Matt Patricia, not going to be easy to do it. But so for Bryce Underwood, it's the balance between controlling this game and also allowing your talent to take over at times. And I think that comes with his legs extending drives. Can you find a couple good moments to really extend drives? If Bryce Underwood's a stationary passer, I don't think Michigan wins this game. He's got to convert some plays on third down with his legs, avoid negative plays, stay away from big risk and big sacks in this game. Bryce Underwood's job is the balance between like survival, but also you're going to have to be a hero 1 or 2 times in this game. And can you play that balance perfectly and not try to do it too much? So, man, it's going to be a fascinating matchup, Jake. I can't wait to watch it.
This is where like legacies, and you become a legend by what you do in these big games. And, Davis Warren is a legend because he beat cancer, and he's a legend because he's an amazing human being. But he's a legend because of leading Michigan down to score, even though the stats weren't great. The key third down pass to Peyton O'Leary, another legend. Khalil Mullings, another legend. Like, you become a legend in this game. Andrew Marsh would be another one. Michigan's freshman wide receiver, one of the best receivers in college football statistically since he started getting the start opportunities back in October. And another key thing, I'm super in the weeds here. Michigan is making him their punt returner. They had a guy, Samaj Morgan, fumbling, a little bit untrustworthy. So they're saying, hey, freshman wide receiver Andrew Marsh, you got to be the punt returner. I'm looking at a Desmond Howard type punt return for a touchdown, strike the Heisman pose, big momentum swings. Michigan won that game last year. Big reason why? Special teams. Michigan special teams, not been good this year. Has not been good. You need to make a big play. And then the flip side's also true for Ohio State. Like, their special teams has to show up. Caleb Downs, I mean, that guy has built a legacy because he's a great football player. Yeah. This is like the piece you need, to win against your rival. Caleb Downs then goes into a different stratosphere in the history of Ohio State. So, my gosh, man. How
about a big game for Jordan Marshall and how he plays? I mean, just having to run the football and make plays on the ground to control the tempo of this game with Justice Haynes out for the season, or I think the rest of the season, right?
Maybe postseason, but
maybe postseason. But Jordan Marshall's gotta have a huge day. I mean, he isn't even 100% healthy from the things I was reading.
He missed Maryland, so he missed. He got hurt late Northwestern game time decision against Maryland. I was down on the field. And we found out he wasn't going to play, but he was running around with a smile on his face, dapping up his teammates, saying, I'm good. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. He's going to play. He's going to play.
So. No, it seems like from the things I was reading that he's going to play. But I mean, he the last few weeks before he got hurt, I mean, he had big games. I mean, this is another one where this Michigan O-line needs to open up some holes, find ways to get Jordan Marshall in space.
Arvell Reese is the I think the key to Ohio State's defense too, because you mentioned Bryce's legs. That is a big piece. He's had timely runs to move the chains, especially on third down. But I remember I go back in that Washington game with Damon Williams. Arvell Reese was hunting him. I mean, Damon is the most athletic quarterback in college football, and Arvell Reese was dancing with him toe to toe and made it look easy. So that's going to be another key. But we got a few more games to talk about here. So my Fansville hype man moment, I'm going to go with Illinois State. They got to be. I'm just kidding. My Fansville hype man is going to be.
I was like, where are you going with this, man? I'm like, holy cow.
Duh. It's right there. It's right there. Fans in Ann Arbor, man. These seniors, how about this, man? This is crazy. The seniors, the students, they don't know what it's like to lose to Ohio State. No. They don't know what it's like to lose to Ohio State.
Isn't that crazy? Imagine going to school for 4 years and never losing a game to your rival.
Yeah.
All while Ohio State wins national championships. It's crazy. Yep. It's such a crazy dynamic. There's really nothing else like it. There's not another dynamic like this in a rivalry game.
I was on the other side of it because I never beat Ohio State. It is a deep, dark pain that you have to live with. So, and that's the stakes that are on the line this weekend.
So who's your Fansville hype man?
The University of Michigan, baby. The Michigan Wolverines had to be. You?
All right, listen, Jake, my Fansville hype man for this one and my winner for the game, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
What are you doing with that? Who sent you there?
The Ohio State Buckeyes get their win finally after 4 seasons. The fans deserve it. Ryan Day comes out swinging. I got Ohio State 35-27 in this game.
Take that off. Take that off.
The helmet is legendary, right from the setup.
Take that off.
What do you think of this thing? It's pretty nice, man.
No, it looks like nice material. I don't like the colors, though, to be honest with you. I prefer these. I got Michigan winning 21-17. 21-17. It is going to be a grind for Michigan to get 21 points. They're going to need good field position, a key turnover, special teams. Michigan gets it done.
Well, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. I'm taking Ohio State. You got Michigan. Shocker. But what an epic matchup it's going to be. I'm not taking this thing off. So I like how it fits.
2 more games to get to real quick. Oregon Washington is another huge game because, okay, if Ohio State wins, they're playing Indiana, assuming Indiana wins Big Ten championship.
Yep.
If Michigan wins, then it becomes we have to watch Oregon Washington. If Michigan wins and then Oregon wins, Oregon goes. But if Michigan wins and Washington upsets Oregon, Michigan plays for a Big Ten championship. So, what one or two things are you watching, Oregon?
Well, the fascinating piece of this matchup is for Oregon. If you lose this game, you could be out of the playoff. I mean, there's a real chance with 2 losses. Then you got if Michigan beats Ohio State with 2 losses, with a win against Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country, and Oregon loses a final week game with Washington, they're probably out after all the excitement of beating USC. So for Oregon, this is hold on. We beat USC, huge game, clinch the playoff, right? But not quite yet. So this is going to be a tough coaching job for Dan Lanning. Get your guys back down to reality. Have to travel, not a long trip, but a tough place to play at Washington.
Oh, yeah.
And get your guys ready to play. Get Dante Moore settled into this game. I think Oregon wins this game because Dan Lanning's that kind of coach. He's great in these moments, in these situations, and getting his guys mentally prepared. But it is going to be a challenge. And Washington playing some good football right now. So
he's struggled and they've struggled winning up in that Pacific Northwest. A lot of teams have. It's been a while since Oregon has went up to Husky Stadium and left with a victory. There's just something about it, man. It's the same thing. It's a very similar storyline of Ohio State, Michigan, where these rivalry games, they're strange. Whatever you think logically will happen doesn't always happen. And that home field advantage, to your point, Washington's going to have to take big advantage of it. I think that, again, the only thing that matters, if Washington cannot stop Oregon's rushing attack, Oregon wins. It's game over. If they can, then this game becomes very, very interesting. And then Kenyon Sadiq, he's a Mackey Award finalist. Been playing out of his mind. That's the other key for the Husky defense.
Kenyon Sadiq may be the most physical tight end I've ever seen on the film.
I know.
He plays so physical and aggressive on every snap. And he looks like a Greek god out there with his muscles. And I mean, the guy's incredible. I'm like,
his calves are the size of my head, man. I couldn't believe this, how shredded he is.
Jake,
and then it's got Damon Williams. It's got to be a career day. It's got to be a career day.
You're on the call for Rutgers, Penn State, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, there's a large push, man. It seems like the locker room, former players fully aligned with Terry Smith.
I'm taking my Ohio State thing off to talk about Penn State. So
cool.
I feel like that's appropriate, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man, there is a ton of momentum around Terry Smith getting the head coaching job. I mean, Michael Robinson, former legendary Penn State quarterback, got on national TV and made a pitch for it in the middle of the game.
I saw that
Saturday. I'm torn, Jake. To be honest, there's two pieces, two sides of this coin. Like, first is, yes, Terry Smith is a Penn State guy, knows what it means to be at Penn State. Understands the history, the tradition, the people there. And that team is playing with a new sense of confidence and belief since Terry Smith has become their head coach. There's no other way to put it. Everyone on that team is playing better football right now in week 12 and 13 than they were earlier in the season before Terry Smith was the head coach. At the same time, you can't let emotion and excitement about an interim coach get away or force you to not hire the best guy to get your program to a national championship. And I think that's the balance. This isn't a new story. Every time the interim head coach gets the job and wins a couple games, everyone wants the interim coach to get the job. All the players always want the interim coach to get the head coaching job. This isn't a new phenomenon. And I'm not taking anything away from Terry Smith. At the same time, Pat Kraft has to make the best hire for the future at Penn State. This is a top job in the country. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. I would be excited if Terry Smith got the job. I'd be excited if it's someone from the outside. I keep hearing the Bob Chesney name at James Madison. I think there's a lot, and I think there's some big name coaches out there who are circling this job that are kind of getting through the last week of the season. But Jake, it's going to be an exciting weekend for you because, I mean, from everything I've been told, Penn State's trying to make an announcement on Sunday, so it's going to be a crazy week. I mean, you almost have to at some point.
Yeah, you
also,
do.
Think about this: Penn State's now competing with James Franklin at Virginia Tech on everything. Virginia Tech has their head coach. They're going to raise the roster, take the recruits until Penn State has some stability.
You do. I mean, you laid it out perfectly. These things are related. They're not independent. Pat Kraft has to hire the best candidate, period. There could be no emotions, no favors, not trying to please anyone. Hire the best person that you believe will get you to your goals of winning titles. But what's interesting is that very well could be Terry Smith. That doesn't mean you're eliminating Terry Smith. He has complete belief and alignment from a locker room. I think it says a lot about his ability. That team was emotionally dead, and he's brought them back up. He's elevated the game, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. You have to give him credit there. I think the bowl game is, because you're playing for a bowl game now, that's important too. And I guess this point isn't as strong if they're making an announcement on Sunday, but the way I was looking at it is you'll find out a ton about what the players think about Terry Smith getting to a bowl game and seeing who goes and plays for Coach Smith. Put your body on the line for Coach.
The hard part is just you almost have to make a hire before the bowl game. If
you
you're
do.
Penn State. It's challenging because of the timing. And then here's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying anything out of line here to say like Kalen DeBoer has been rumored around this job a ton. And is he a good fit at Alabama? What makes sense there? There's been a bunch of other big names that have been having conversations with Pat Kraft. The question is, if you take a guy from a playoff team, how does that work? I mean, what do you leave to the playoff? And that's why it makes it really challenging. I don't think it'll actually happen, but
we got to figure out this college football calendar. I mean, it's a joke. It's impossible.
It's impossible. And you got players that got to transfer and make decisions. You got to sign high school recruits. I mean, it's a big challenge.
Hey man, gonna be a fun one. Have a great Thanksgiving. Can't wait to give me some feedback. What you think of the call this weekend? Excited to see the Nittany Lions. I know Grunkenmeyer way back when. We got some tricks up our sleeve. I can't wait for you.
Bro,
to see
you got to figure out, is it
weekend.
Grunkemeyer or Grunkenmeyer?
It's spelled Grunkenmeyer.
Yeah, I mean, you better do some pronunciation checks.
Grunkemeyer?
But Jake, let me say this. As you look up your thing, I'm thankful for the Button Breneman show. I'm thankful for our friendship, Jake. I'm thankful we get some great football for Michigan, Ohio State. And I'm thankful for Dr. Pepper and our Fansville hype man.
Amen. I ditto that. I second that. It is Grunkemeyer. Grunkemeyer.
It is
UH. Grunkemeyer. Grunkemeyer.
Right? There's no N. See, you got to thank me for that.
I messed up because I got no. It's spelled Grunkemeyer, yeah, but it is Grunkemeyer. E is pronounced as a UH.
It's kind of confusing. Yeah. Whatever.
Hey, it's Tuesday. We go over pronunciations
on
Friday, but you got me a jump on.
I was gonna say I don't do pronunciations till Friday because I want to freshen my brain.
Hey, but thank you, and thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate the support of the show. Give us the score predictions down in the comments, and we will see you guys next week for a Big Ten champ game preview. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it's here. Thanks for tuning in.